Hi, welcome to Coffee with KPP, the show dedicated to providing advice for life to help you live richly and work toward the life that you've earned. Today, I'm joined with a very dear friend of mine and a pillar of the Louisville community and Oldham County community, Gustavo Reyes, owner of Gustavo's Restaurant. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome.
Happy to be here. Good morning.
So glad to have you, Gustavo. So a little bit of background on Gustavo. He has been in America since 1999, 21 years.
Yes, correct.
We're going to hear about his story, which is absolutely incredible. I'm not going to steal any of the thunder because to hear Gustavo tell his story in his own words is among the most motivating and inspirational stories I've ever heard. So it's you're kind of you're like a giant sitting here, right? You really are.
Thank you.
And I really want this conversation. The person that's going to benefit from this is anybody that has a goal, a dream, a vision of what you want your future to look like. And there are challenges that we face today with COVID-19.
Yeah.
In our country, we have political unrest. There's a lot of uncertainty going on. But I'm reminded of there's a artist, Billy Joel. You know Billy Joel?
Yes.
So Billy Joel has a song called "We Didn't Start the Fire." And it pretty much goes through all the bad things that have happened through the world in the last 100 years. And I like to say this time, as much as we think it's different, it's really not. There are always bad things. There's always news. There's always adversity that people have to overcome. And Gustavo, his success is a direct result from his attitude, his faith, his willingness, or his unwavering demand for greatness, to do the right thing, consistency, hard work, and overcoming adversity like nobody I've ever met before. So if you yourself are looking to accomplish a goal, or if you have friends, family members, loved ones, young children that are mired in the difficulties of everyday life, whether it's COVID or anything else, this is going to be a conversation to help you realize that with the right attitude, you can really overcome anything. So with that said, Gustavo, I want to talk about three things for you specifically. Your history, your past, your present, the company you've built, the restaurants that you have, which, by the way, in my humble opinion, Gustavo's is the best Mexican restaurant that I've been all over the country, fortunate enough to be. It is the best Mexican, the food, the service, everything. It's just
always
top 10.
Yes,
top shelf. Yes. So let's talk about your story, Gustavo. Tell us about you, a little bit of background about you, your family, where you come from. Everybody, introduce yourself to the world.
Thank you, Kena. My name is Gustavo Reyes. I'm from Guadalajara, Mexico, and I have 6 sisters. I'm the only boy in the house, and I'm from Guadalajara, and I come in 1999, the first time to the United States when I was 15, and I come to, my cousins invite me to Nicholasville, and I come to Nicholasville in 1999, and I come with a big dream to help my parents to build a house, and I was very hungry, to help my family, my mom. And when I come to this beautiful country, I promised my mom I was going to help to build a house for her because, we live like in a little tiny house with my 6 sisters, my father, and my mom, and broke my heart. And I was like, I'm gonna come to the United States and help you.
Wow. So when you say tiny house, how many bedrooms in the house?
It was 2 and 1 bath.
2 bedrooms,
Yes.
1 bath.
In the
And
kitchen.
you and your father shared that with 7 ladies.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yes. And I came in 1999, and I was very blessed because my cousins invite me to come to Kentucky, and I come for the first time to Nicholasville in 1999, and I start working like a painting guy.
Okay.
I help for a month and a half or 2 months. And later, a friend invited me to be a helper in brick, and I worked there for maybe a month or two. And I remember I met my friend, the manager for the restaurant in Nicholasville called Fiesta Mexico, and we used to play soccer. It's how I met the manager because when I was little, I used to play a lot of soccer. And he invited me to work to the restaurant, and he said, "Come to help me to clean dishes." And I was like, "Okay." And my first day, I started working in a restaurant. It was November 24, my first day in 1999. Yes. And I started cleaning dishes, and I used to work at daytime there from 9 to 10 o'clock and cleaning dishes. And after they closed, I used to go strip tobacco to from maybe 11 o'clock to 4 or 5 in the morning.
So what was that? Say it again.
Strip tobacco?
Oh, strip tobacco.
Yeah. Yes.
So you'd be washing dishes all day long.
All day long.
And then you'd go strip tobacco.
In the night.
And then wake up and do it all over again.
Yes.
Stripping tobacco is not an easy job.
No, it's hard.
So
yes.
You look forward to washing dishes? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I started working in the restaurant, and I worked like 2 months like a dishwasher. And my friend, he left. The guy used to work in the grill, and I take his position, and I start liking the restaurant work so much. And I was maybe like 6 months working in the grill.
Okay. And you're still 15 years old at this point.
Yes. Right. Yeah. And I come to be the second chef, and I was in charge every Monday, in charge of the kitchen and the whole staff in the kitchen.
Within months.
Yes, and maybe 6-7 months after. And I learned all the kitchen, and I love it, and I never complain. I always work hard and super dedicated.
Yeah.
And the manager likes my work, and he invited me to be a server. And I was like, I don't speak English.
So let me kind of make sure everybody understands what you just said, because you're so humble. What you just said is incredible in and of itself. So Gustavo grew up in Guadalajara with a very loving family.
Yes.
God rest your father's soul, just passed away in December,
yes,
so I know you were really close with him.
Yeah, it's been very difficult.
But your parents were married 47 years.
Married 47 years.
So Gustavo grew up in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment or house?
Little tiny house.
In Guadalajara with his 6 sisters and his parents who you love and adore.
Oh, yes.
And at age 15, without knowing anybody but your cousins invited you to Nicholasville, Kentucky, from Guadalajara, without high school education, no college education, and you had a dream to simply buy your parents a house.
Yes.
And at 15, and I'm thinking about my oldest daughter, whom I'm so proud of. She started a business at 15. But I think of the average 15-year-old doing what you did. You left your country, went to America, doesn't speak English, and within a year, you're already moving up the ranks as a restaurateur, so to speak.
Yes.
You were a server within 6 months, not speaking English.
No.
Okay, so a lot of obstacles there, a lot to unpack, and you said you were grateful for it all. And
super grateful, and I appreciate so much this beautiful country because they have so many opportunities, and just keep work hard, believe in yourself, and keep going.
Yeah.
But you can do it. This beautiful country offers so many opportunities to everyone, and in too many ways. And
you're living proof.
Yes.
All right. So now you're 16, and you're asked to be a server, and you say, "I don't speak any English."
I don't speak English, and my friend helped me, and he invited me to be a server, and I was maybe 17, 18, and I started like serving for a few months, and later he left, and the owners gave me the opportunity to be the manager. And by 18, 19, I was in charge of the whole restaurant.
At 18,
Uh-huh.
in charge of the whole restaurant.
Yes.
And your English, I'm assuming, a little better?
A little better, but not much. Yes, but I had to learn English every day in the street and never, yeah.
Wow.
But it's been very blessing, and I work in that location from 1999 to 2004,
Okay.
and I help my parents. All the money I make in those years, I give it to my parents to help to make the house.
I was going to ask you that. So, what were you doing with the savings? Because, you weren't making extraordinary amounts of money.
Uh-huh.
And this is a financial services firm, and one of the things that we always say is people always push saving off. They wait to save their money because they don't think they have enough now. And what we always encourage people to do is always save, no matter what you're making. Put some aside. Never let your lifestyle catch up to your income.
No.
So so you were sending all your extra money home. So you weren't saving anything for you. You were sending it home to your parents.
Yes, because I was focused to help my mom and my father
buy a house.
Yes, and I was like, okay, the first few years I work, I want to help my mom.
Wow.
And my father. And after I helped them, I was like, I started looking in the restaurant business. It was like a good option, and I see they make good money, and I was like, oh, okay, I need to save my money to open a restaurant. And I saved a little bit, and I had the opportunity to come to Oldham County and open my first restaurant. And I came in 2004, in November 2004, and this is how I come to Oldham County.
And that's when you opened your first restaurant,
Yes.
Gustavo's.
Gustavo's opened in 2010.
2010, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, and this is how I come to Oldham County.
So in 2004, you were 20 years old.
Yeah, 20, 21. Yes.
Barely had spoken English.
No, not at all.
Worked your way up from a dishwasher to a manager. Helped your parents buy a home in Mexico.
Yes.
No high school, no formal education.
No.
And at 20, not of legal age to drink, bought a restaurant with a partner.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah. It's been super blessed.
How did you feel? What was your, were you scared? Were you excited? Were you proud? I mean, what was that?
I'm very
when
proud.
When in 2004, kind of go back to when you were 20.
In 2004.
Yeah.
I've been a person that sometimes I ask myself, like, this is Gustavo? Yeah. Because I'm super humble and
you are super humble.
It's been very blessed, and I come to make the difference. I love to help people, and now I'm looking for friends to want to grow and help them to grow. That's my goal. Help somebody else, like give it the opportunity for somebody else want to grow and is hungry to grow. I want to help them.
And you do help others to grow. And it's so if you ever are in Oldham County, Kentucky, potentially growing outside of Oldham County, you do have a store in Norton Commons, so you have four total.
4 stores.
Expected to open more perhaps in 2021?
I think maybe in 2021 I would like to open another location.
Okay.
I have my first location, it was in Crestwood in 2015. I come and open La Grange Gustavo's.
So in 2010 though was your first Gustavo's.
Yes.
So I'm doing the math. You came here at 15 in 99. In 2010, you're 26 years old.
Yes.
Having accomplished your dream of buying your parents a home.
Yes.
And you bought their home in 2004.
In 2004.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
And then in 2010, just 11 years later, so we call it, you didn't go to college, but you went to the School of Hard Knocks. Yeah, you went to the School of Hard Knocks, and you opened Gustavo's in 2010. That was your first restaurant.
My first restaurant.
And
the first one, it was part owner in 2004. It was a little part owner of restaurant. Yes.
So I think there's a lesson to draw from, right? So you talk about your humility, and I think you just are the embodiment of humility. And you started as a dishwasher, and I think that this is a really great lesson for really anybody, but especially young people, because I started in the restaurant business. I think I told you that, and I grew up. My family was very hardworking, blue collar family, and the way I got into financial services was a gentleman would always tip me every time he came in. And I was just a busboy. I was never good enough to become a waiter. And whenever he tipped me, I recognized that. And one day he gave me a business card, and he ended up being the president and CEO of AXA Equitable, which is the third largest insurance company.
Yeah.
So I named my son after him, Kip Condren. If he ever watches this, I owe so much to that gentleman for seeing something in me that I didn't see in myself. But I think the point is the opportunities that come about by doing those jobs that you might like. You've talked about how you love being in the kitchen, and you love doing. There's no job that's beneath you. You wouldn't ask anybody, any of your employees, to do something that you yourself wouldn't or haven't already done. There's tremendous leadership lessons to be learned from Gustavo. And if you ever want to see it in action, go to his restaurants.
Come to Gustavo's.
Come to Gustavo's, and you will. The way your staff, your team, there's just you just feel like you're part of the family there, and it's amazing how everybody's worked. So let's talk about your leadership style. How have you garnered such an incredible culture at Gustavo's? Because the experience is always great, the food always comes out quickly, it's immaculately clean, fresh food. Great service, smile, people remember you when you walk in. How have you done that?
We are a family restaurant. I treat everyone like family, and I'm the same like my friend next to me and work, I still enjoy to go clean dishes and cooking, and I respect everyone in my work, and we are the same. And I'm blessed to work together with them, and we're super happy, enjoy working together every day.
Yeah.
And happy to have a job, super happy, and I love what I do. I never get bored because I love it. Yes, it's like a hobby.
It is.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm sure there's stress involved and things like that, but I've never seen you worried.
No. Sometimes, but I'm happy and I enjoy, and if there's something's wrong, I just fix it. Not complain. No time for complaint.
I love it. If something's wrong, I just fix it. And, as simple as that sounds, I think that's profound. If something's wrong, I just fix it.
Just fix it.
And don't complain.
No, not complain. Just be happy, enjoy.
And there's something else that I think is really important for everybody to know. And when you talk about family, that's not just a line from you, Gustavo, because through COVID-19, how many of your employees did you let go?
No, we keep everyone working, and we've been very blessed. And I was worried for my friends and work because I was like, okay, if we don't do good, I just want them to be good and make sure they are okay. and we keep everyone in work. When this pandemic, it was super hard, when we had to close the restaurant to the public and only do a takeout and carry out and delivery. But we keep everyone working in the
Everybody.
restaurant. Yes, we don't lose anyone.
Yeah, and yeah, I listen. I told you that I listened to a podcast. Simon Sinek is really great business leader, and he tells a story of a business owner when the markets collapsed in 2008, 2009. The CEO of this company said, "It's better that we all suffer a little than some of us suffer a lot." And that leader, he uses that example. Nobody lost their jobs. Everybody took a pay cut, including the CEO especially. Vacations were unpaid, but people were sharing that. And it sounds like you've garnered that culture of your employees.
Yes.
When we walk in as customers, we just feel we can't wait to go to Gustavo's because it's an event. And I think that the way that you have made your employees feel safe and comfortable, and so the way you support them, it just comes through in the experience. So thank you and hats off.
Thank you so much. Yeah, super happy, enjoy working there, everyone, and we are very blessed to have a job. And we just like to keep working hard every day. Yes. We love what we do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and to your point, it's amazing. You might be up front, you might be bussing tables, you might be in the back doing dishes, and I know that your team members see that. They see you leading by example with a great positive attitude.
All the time, yes.
So let's talk about opportunities, okay? So you're looking at growing in 2021 potentially, and coming off the pandemic, it's obviously been tough. So I want to, as a business owner, let's talk about what have you learned from the pandemic? How have you had to adjust to the environment, whether it's increased savings, new business model, but you're in a unique position that many business owners and individuals aren't, and that you're still able to capitalize on opportunities to grow coming out of this, when many people are really wondering, scratching their heads whether or not they're going to pay their bills. So what differentiates you from that, and how do you think you've given yourself the opportunity to grow?
Yes. I always try to be ready for things, and I always save my money. And my grandma, when I was 10 or 12, she used to have a store, grocery store, and I used to work for my grandma when I was 8 or 10, and she used to pay me 20 pesos a week for the whole week. And every day I go grab something and she give me credit. And okay, she paid me 20 pesos, and a Saturday when she paid me, I owe her 30 pesos. And she's like, "Hey, you're not gonna make it because you spend more what you have." And I was like, "Yes." And she said, "You need to save your money." And she don't give me credit till I back to balance.
Okay.
Because she told me, if you have 5, don't spend 7. And she said, "You have a problem." And I was like, "Come on, I'm hungry. I want to eat some candy."
And you're 8.
Yes, 8, 10. And now that helped me so much because I'm like, she teach me, if you have 10, spend 1 or 2, Yeah, and always.
So instead, if you have 10, don't spend 15, spend 1 or 2.
Yes, 1 or 2, yes.
Yeah.
And right now it's been kind of hard with this pandemic, but we're going to survive. And I'm taking advantage of this too, in a lot of ways. Okay, we had the restaurant closed. We're gonna do a small remodelation.
Yeah.
But I don't like to complain. I find the ways to survive, and if something's coming wrong, I always find something good about that.
That's right. Yeah,
Yes.
and we talked a little bit about this before, but there are two attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
There are attitudes of scarcity and attitudes of abundance.
Uh-huh.
And attitudes of scarcity are embodied by those people that feel like tomorrow's not promised. We know that.
Yeah, that's true.
But we know that if we're given tomorrow, that we can make the most out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there are opportunities to give, not to get, but to give, and whatever you give will come back to you tenfold.
Yes.
And the scarce idea is that there's limited supply, there's limited opportunity, there are more problems than there are opportunities perhaps, and you've got to really protect what's yours. You can make an argument that the majority of people probably have that attitude of scarcity and they want to hoard opportunities or hoard money. And from what I hear you say, you just have a complete attitude of abundance and that,
Yes.
but you made your own luck, right?
Mm-hmm.
To have the opportunities to capitalize on now, you've taken grandma's advice throughout your entire life.
Yes.
Even when
correct.
things were great, even when things were growing, for every $10 you make, you were probably spending one or two.
Yes. Yeah, it's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you hadn't done that, Gustavo, who knows? You definitely wouldn't have been able to keep your friends and family on
Yes.
staff. Your restaurants, who knows if they would have survived, but now you're growing.
Yes, we're doing pretty good. In 2013, I come work full time for my company, and it's when it start to grow.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you were hopefully invested.
Yes.
So what does the future look like, do you think, for you? I mean, what opportunities do you see right now?
I'm looking to open a new restaurant in this year, 2021.
Yeah.
And soon we're gonna back to La Grange, and I'm waiting for a little bit to things change a little bit.
Like what? What are you waiting for? What do you?
I'm gonna take a few months to make Gustavo's La Grange too.
Okay.
And
So just for those listeners that don't know, Gustavo has a location set. He has a LaGrange store that's been there for almost 10 years.
La Grange store has been there for 5 years. This February is gonna be 6 years.
5 or 6 years, right?
Yes.
And just yesterday I was at the LaGrange store with Gustavo preparing for this, and it was just heartwarming when we were talking and a couple was looking for him throughout the restaurant and had to come in and say hello. I didn't want to leave without saying goodbye. And Gustavo had told me that he had known this beautiful couple for 14 years. And it just is a testament to how Gustavo and his restaurant has really become a pillar in the community. You are just part of who we are in Oldham County, and that's not by accident because I know you give a lot back. But he's going to be eventually moving a store or building a new building out there. And my wife, just so you know, Michelle, when you see this, I did ask. It's going to be a couple years out for that building to be built.
Yeah.
So talk about what you've done, how you give back, because I know you do so much. And one of the things that we talked about was on staff. So your story when you were a server, how you had to learn English by becoming a server. I know you're mentoring young men and women that perhaps are coming from Mexico like you did at a young age, and you're helping them build a life here as well.
Yes, I think I'm inspiration for them because I come from a small community and everybody knows me. I was running and playing soccer sometimes with not shoes, and now they see me here and they ask them ourselves and be like, "This is Gustavo." Yeah, and I think
so you become a bit of a legend.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you probably hate me saying that because you're so humble, but I get it.
Mm-hmm.
So and yesterday too, so you all know, to talk about just the kind of person Gustavo is. When he was describing his childhood, he said, we weren't really poor, but we had a humble beginning. And I don't know if you just heard him say, but he was playing soccer without shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. It's correct.
It's a matter of perspective. It's incredible.
Mhm. Yeah, it's always consistent, work hard, and be honest to everyone, be fair to everyone, and love what you do, and believe in God, and do the right things.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anything else that you'd like to share?
To share, I would like to say this beautiful country I appreciate so much, and I'm thankful to be here in this wonderful country. And I respect so much, and I appreciate so much. Give me the opportunity to come. Then it's a lot of opportunities here, and you live free and safe and good, and I'm happy to be here. Super happy.
So let's unpack that if you don't mind. So for people that don't understand how opportunities might be limited in Guadalajara, why would it have been more difficult to have achieved what you have in Guadalajara?
It's different because you know, our money in Mexico does not have so much value, and the economic is hard because your salary is very low and your expenses are big, you know, and it's hard to survive.
Yeah.
Yes, it's some opportunities, but it's more hard than here.
So it's hard to survive there.
Yes.
Never mind live. It's hard to survive.
Yes, it's beautiful, but you don't make much to, you know, to do something. You to live in Mexico is expensive too because you make little and your expenses are a lot.
Yeah.
Yes.
And and I just want to say thank you for saying that, because you're right. It's we all have our own issues, right? We all have our own insecurities that we deal with, and we all see obstacles differently. And I encourage you, whatever obstacles you're faced with, just think about Gustavo and what he's accomplished and the impact that he's had on the lives of not only the people that work for you and with you, but on the community that you have, the experience that my family has had, that our friends and their families have when they go, and what you've given back. We haven't even talked about how much you've given back to the community, which is extraordinary. And it's all because you say it in such a beautiful way. It's all because you just stayed consistent, honest, believed in God, worked hard, did the right thing, and over time that persistence and consistency has allowed you to really influence the world in an amazingly positive way, Gustavo.
Yeah.
And you're going to continue to do that.
Yes, I'm super blessed and happy. I enjoy to help, you know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
And I'd love to continue this conversation for hours, and we just met. But for now, we're at time with the show, and for all of you listening, I want to really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you again.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Gustavo, thank you.
You're welcome.
And for those of you who have never visited Gustavo's restaurant, I can't encourage you enough. You have four stores now. We're Crestwood, LaGrange,
Prospect, and Norton Commons.
And the experience that you get at any of the restaurants is going to be extraordinary. Send us a note reiterating how fast the service is, I promise. And the food is always fresh and incredible. And, I'll tell you, during the coronavirus pandemic, my wife, at first, nobody could serve alcohol for delivery.
Yes.
And my wife was over the moon when she could finally get the margaritas delivered from takeout. So keep those margaritas flowing for my wife, right?
Yeah.
And visit the store, support Gustavo and local restaurants, and I promise you'll have an extraordinary experience. And on behalf of everybody here at KPP, I want to thank Gustavo. And just a reminder, at Kentucky Planning Partners, our goal is to provide advice for life so that we can help you live richly and work toward the life that you've earned. We are financial planners, and we are based on the heart of Louisville's east side, in the corner of Shelbyville and Hurstbourne Lane. And we welcome the opportunity to help you, no matter where you are in your financial life. If you're a business owner, an individual closing in on retirement, in retirement, or just beginning your career, give us a call. We're glad to help you realize your dreams, no matter what the obstacles. We know that we can help you work through them and be a sounding board for you to get you where you want to be. So on behalf of everybody here at KPP, I hope you have a great day and a great week.